What if the biggest comeback of Jungkook's wasn't just a comeback? What if hidden inside the beat drops, the choreography, even the way he moved his hands, there was a ghost, a legend, watching? And some fans swear they could see him standing right there, next to Jungkook. Today, we're diving into the accusation that's been quietly following BTS's Golden Maknae for years now. The claim that his solo sound doesn't just draw inspiration from Western pop icons, it copies them. Is it true? Is it fair? And why does this conversation keep coming back, no matter how many records he breaks? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to hear what the critics said, what the icons themselves said, and one comment that might just end the debate for good. Let's rewind. November 3rd, 2023, Jungkook releases his debut solo album, Golden. For ARMY, this wasn't just another release. This was the moment the world would finally get an entire era built around Jungkook. His voice, his vision, his artistry, front and center. No group choreography to share, no verses to split, just him. And the lead single? Standing Next to You. A song dripping in funk, disco, brass stabs, and vocal ad-libs that made your body move before your brain even caught up. It shot up the charts. It broke records. It became one of the most celebrated K-pop tracks of the year. But almost immediately, something else started trending alongside it. Comments, threads, comparisons. Over and over, the same name kept surfacing in reviews and reactions: Michael Jackson. Fans and music critics pointed to the mannerisms in the choreography, the sharp turns, the confident, snapping hand movements, the vocal ad-libs that echoed a King of Pop cadence. Some reviewers went even further, tracing the song's DNA back to turn-of-the-millennium icons too, names like Justin Timberlake and R&B crooner Craig David. Here's where it gets interesting, because not everyone saw this as a compliment. Some listeners embraced it instantly, calling it a loving tribute, a masterclass in throwback funk delivered by a 21st-century idol who clearly did his homework. But others weren't as convinced. Online, comment sections filled with a very different tone. Words like imitation, phrases like too on the nose. One widely circulated fan review put it bluntly, arguing the track felt less like inspiration and more like a direct lift from Thriller-era Michael Jackson. The accusation wasn't small. It was the kind of comment that spreads fast because it taps into something ARMY takes very seriously. The idea that Jungkook, someone praised for his raw natural talent, might need someone else's blueprint to shine. But that's not even the wildest part. Because while critics online were arguing over homage versus imitation, the actual icons being copied were watching too. And what they had to say might completely flip the narrative you were expecting. We're talking about Diana Ross. Yes, that Diana Ross, a living legend, a woman who literally helped shape the sound Jungkook was supposedly stealing from. In February, she posted the Standing Next to You music video on her own official website. Not a passing mention, not a quick retweet, a genuine public nod from a Motown icon. And her words? She said she loved his songs and his videos. She said, and this is the line that changed everything, MJ is coming through all of the moves. She praised the choreography. She praised the dancers. She called it fantastic. Let that sink in. The very comparison fans were using as criticism was being echoed by Diana Ross herself, except in her mouth, it wasn't an accusation, it was an honor. A living pioneer of American pop and soul music, looking at a Korean idol paying tribute to her generation's greatest icon and saying, I see it and I love it. But here's where the story escalates even further. South Korean rapper and producer Din, a respected voice in the industry, brought up Standing Next to You on his own radio show just days after the album dropped. He broke down the songwriting choice fans had been buzzing about, the chorus built almost entirely on instrumental hits instead of a traditional melody line. And his reaction? Not he copied this. His reaction was disbelief. the good kind. He compared the audacity of that choice directly to Michael Jackson's own fearless style of songwriting, and then said something ARMY will never forget. He called Jungkook the biggest talent to come out of Korea, the supremest of all Korean talents. His words, not ours. So which is it? Is this a copy or a masterclass in homage, so precise, so intentional that even the artists connected to the original style are the ones applauding it? But that's still not the wildest part of this story, because just over a year later, the tables turned completely. In December 2024, a Vietnamese pop artist released a music video that ARMY immediately flagged online. The concept, the outfits, the dance formations, even the camera movements. Fans said they mirrored Standing Next to You almost scene for scene. The hashtag Stop Copying BTS exploded across social media. Vietnamese ARMY led the charge, posting side-by-side comparisons that spread like wildfire. And then it got personal. The producer behind that Vietnamese track didn't apologize, he didn't clarify. Instead, he posted a photo of Michael Jackson online with a caption that read, roughly translated, "Everything comes from here, why so tense?" A clear jab, a suggestion that if Jungkook could be inspired by MJ, then accusing someone else of copying Jungkook made no sense. Fans were furious, because here's the uncomfortable truth this whole saga forces us to sit with. The same word, inspiration, can be used as a shield or a weapon depending on who's holding it. When Jungkook pays tribute to Michael Jackson, ARMY calls it artistry. When someone else appears to mirror Jungkook's work, that same word suddenly isn't good enough anymore. So here's the moment that matters most in this entire story. Not the accusations, not the hashtags, not even the finger-pointing back and forth across continents. It's this. The artists who actually lived the original era, the ones who could have every reason to feel imitated, chose a different response entirely. Diana Ross didn't see theft, she saw respect. She saw a young artist honoring a lineage she helped build with her own hands decades ago. That's not something you fabricate. That's not something PR teams manufacture. That's a real woman on her own website choosing to celebrate a 26-year-old idol from Korea carrying a torch she helped light decades ago. Maybe that's the real answer here. Every artist stands on someone else's shoulders. Every sound has a history. The difference between copying and carrying forward isn't always about the notes or the choreography. It's about whether the people who came before you can look at what you made and still feel honored. Diana Ross looked, and she smiled. So, what do you think, ARMY? Is inspiration in music always this personal, this complicated? Drop your thoughts below. We read every single one. And if this story moved you even a little, hit like and subscribe so we can keep uncovering the stories behind the headlines together.